بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to Africali Talks podcast. This is your host, King Yusuf. We're back again for second episode. Today's episode is a continuation of the introduction. Alhamdulillah. Praise due to Allah. I was blessed to be able to take in this task. The journey has been very great, and there's a lot of story to talk about. First episode, and I want to thank everyone. It's a great honor to be able to bless with this kind of gift, blessings. And then people out there who do not know you, but they take the time to listen to what I have to say and to get a lot of feedback. And I'm so grateful for that. I'm so thankful for that. So thank you, every listener who took a time to listen to Africali Talks podcast. First season 1, episode 1, introduction about my name, King Yusuf. I want to thank you. Thank you so much for the support. It means a lot to me. So now, let's jump to the second episode. Today's episode is basically about Africali, the brand, Africali, the clothing line. What is Africali? How did the name Africali came to my mind? How did it start? You probably want to know. You know what I mean? I know there's a lot of people been asking me, how you come up with that? It's good. I like it. I really like it. I like it. And I'm so happy because I really been journeying from Africa to Asia to America because I wanted to have something that can be so meaningful, something that can really tell a story about myself, where I'm from, and my journey to where I'm going. So it's a great blessing to have people support you. So I want to really thank you for supporting me, taking time to listen to Africali Talks podcast. So what is Africali? Africali, the name, Africali, the brand, is basically a linguistic blend of words. You know, I one time was sitting by the dining table in Los Angeles, California, in South LA to be exact. And I said, today I need to come up with this brand name that I've been really talking about, and I need to come up with that brand name. So sitting by the dining table with my laptop, with my pencil, with my paper, I started thinking about where I'm from, the journey, how it all started. So before I can tell you this story, we have to go back to where it all started. It started where did it start? It started from Africa, in a city called Accra, in a slum called Nafiu. Nafiu is an Arabic term meaning beneficial. In the area that I come from, that is a beneficial area. And my grandpa's house was Barakatu house, meaning the house of blessings. When I was growing up, I saw a lot of tradings, businesses. Every morning when we get up for prayers and when we get up to get ready for school, there's always aunties and uncles ready to go get it. In the household that I grew up, we had goats, we had sheep, and my aunts and my grandma and my mom, they had something going on. Everyone is selling something. They preparing food to take out there and sell it, to serve, basically. And I grew up seeing a whole lot of vibration of, this one taking care of this and this one take care of that. So it is something that has been on my mind, like how they do that, and I want to be part of this kind of journey where I'm able to do something that can really impact life. You know what I mean? So coming from Africa, it's not really easy because you just surrounded by your community and the folks you do not go, further places or outside of your community because there's a whole lot of things that happen. People getting snatched, people getting stolen, so we grew up in a house where we had a bunch of protection all the time. Uncles always looking out for us. Aunties are looking out for us. So it's all about school and then coming home. But then there's always a time where as you grow up, you're being given this opportunity of, tasting the life of trade. My grandma was a trader. My grandfather was a trader. My father was once a trader. My mom, she's a seamstress and she's a businesswoman. She's a trader. So my family is basically from, trading, and my grandma and my grandfather, they all had businesses. You know what I mean? My grandfather, matter of fact, is a tailor. And my mom she's a seamstress. And my daddy is a tailor. My uncles, bunch of them are tailors. So in my household, designing and sewing stuff is like a norm. But when I was growing up and seeing a whole bunch of Western world with a t-shirt and, designs on it with jeans and a whole bunch of stuff, I see some of my uncles be wearing the traditional clothes, but some also be wearing some of that, jeans and whatnot. So we kind of like, man, that is cool. Everyone in Africa probably want to be, one of those wearing or getting some of those, you know what I mean? So this journey is basically to say that I saw things and I wanted to be in that field where I'll be able to get some of those fancy, good looking t-shirts. It never occurred to me that there's a brand name on it. It's just that it's so cool because what we were wearing was more about, tailored type of dress, so we had that. But you always want to cross boundaries and trying to get something different other than what you already got. So it had some kind of influence in my life where when I was, growing up and started selling stuff, when I say selling stuff, my grandma used to give me tomatoes and, herbs, pepper and, a whole bunch of market stuff. I used to go sell them. I used to go sell them at the young age, somewhere around, probably around 13, 14 years. And growing up, I used to just sell stuff for my grandma. And I used to get money and I used to get food. So it was helpful for me that I'd be out there selling, because my grandma always relied on me because she had a lot of grandchildren, but it always I always loved to go out there and sell. So I started doing business at the young age of selling stuff, you know what I mean? And it always just in the community that I was living. I always was in the same community, houses to houses and selling stuff and come back and pack up and go back. I always go sell, come back and re-up and go sell back again. You know what I mean? So it helped me a lot at a young age, able to just get money, able to count money. And I fell in love with that. Like, okay, after school, I just want to make money. I was not thinking about furthering my education. Like I want to go to university or something like that. I just want to make money. That's the kind of mentality that I had. But in the same time, this is a household full of spirituality, very religious. I say that in the sense that after getting up for prayers, you have to learn your Islamic teachings. You have to learn your Islamic books, the Quran, and you always learn the characters. And then you get ready for school. When you come back home, you still have to sit down and learn. But, as a child, we always want to run away from learning because we want to be out there playing. So I went through that too, as a youngster growing up. But at the time that I started, maturing and being in secondary school, my focus was to travel. My whole focus was I want to travel and make money. So this story is very unique in the sense that when I was in secondary school, which is high school, one of my teachers approached me one day. I think my biological teacher or physics, I forgot what course, but one of the teachers approached me, and he had this connection for people who want to travel to China. And he was telling me, hey, don't you want to travel to China? I got connection for a visa. And back then, 2001 or 2002, like, who's looking forward to going to China? Like where we from, we looking at the Western media and what, America is all about, or Europe. We just want to go to America. We want to go to Canada. We want to go to somewhere in Germany. That's the mentality. Like people just want to, go and make money from the outside world. You know what I mean? So when he was telling me about China, my whole thing was, what do you want me to do in China? Learn some Kung Fu or, what? I don't want to go to China. He said, no, there's money out there. Really? There's money out there? I really don't know about that, because I don't hear people going to China. But I started making research when he told me that and get to find out a whole bunch of clothes, a whole bunch of stuff made, electronics, some shoes and whatnot is always made in China. And I started making research to find out, is it for real? They're making all this stuff? Okay, so if China is the one making all this stuff, then I got to go to China. Because my old mentality was to make money, but to use money to make money. So I was going to just go direct to China. So I started looking into it. So ever since my teacher told me that, I started asking folks who were into traveling tours. And they would tell you, yeah, you can go to China. You can get a visa. It's no hard. But hey, Ghana and Hong Kong do have free visa. So all you got to do is just get yourself a plane ticket and you on the move. I was like, for real? Like, yeah. I was like, man, I'm finna go get a ticket. So I had to save. I had to come up with business that I could make, save some money, and then buy me a ticket. And it happened. I got the ticket, and now I have my passport. For the first time, one of my friends, who's like a brother to me, we had this plan that, what? On this day, I'm flying. I told my mama and my siblings and didn't tell nobody. So I took this flight and I was going. I was going to where? To Hong Kong. Who do you know there? Nobody. I only knew about some brother that I was told that if I go out there, I should look for him. And there was no any information on how to look for him. I don't have his phone number. I don't have his address, but okay, when you get there, ask about him. So, okay, that kind of belief system that I had or some of us have is just super powerful. Like, okay, you're going to China, you're going to Hong Kong, and you don't know nobody over there. You don't even know what type of weather they got. You just going. Yes, I'm just going. So that brave heart right there, yeah, I had that at that time, and I still got it though. So This flight was South African Airways. I took this flight, flew all the way to South Africa, transit in South Africa for some couple of hours, and then from South Africa to Hong Kong. I got there, arrived in the airport, went through immigration, passport stamped, and I was given entry. But when I was leaving for Hong Kong, because I didn't know what type of weather they got, I didn't know if it was summer, it was winter or fall, none of that. I'm just going thinking that I'm coming from Africa. We got tropical weather, so it's going to be all good. It's the same weather they got. But not knowing that, no, it don't work like that. It don't work like that because, you know, there's a different weather out there. So the moment I was getting off from the airport, I felt some kind of real, you know, coldness approaching my skin. You know what I mean? Like, I'm feeling like, what kind of air is that? It's too cold. The moment the moment I just, you know, stepped out, it was cold. It was super cold. I went back inside the airport. Like, what's going on? It was super cold. I ain't got no jacket. I ain't got nothing. Matter of fact, you know what I had? I remember before that trip, I had a cousin and a friend. So they live in a state in New York. And back then I used to go through eBay magazine. And one of this, what's the name of this magazine? There's another Foot Locker. I used to have Foot Locker magazine that was always brought to me from the state. So I mostly go through them, look at the stuff that is out. So I always wanted to get a Dickies. So I paid money for Dickies, and it was shopped and sent over to me. So I had a bunch of Dickies with me. So when I was traveling, I had these Dickies on. That's all I had. I had full Dickies on. And when I arrived in the airport, it was super bad. I was cold. Yes, I was super cold. And now I'm trying to communicate with people to give me the direction to where I'm going. First of all, I'm just going. I just need to see a black man. I'm in Hong Kong airport. I'm not seeing no black man. I'm the only black man that moment. And I'm looking around who I'm going to talk to. Anyone I approach, no English. What? How am I going to get a bus to where I'm going? Now I need to get the right bus to where I'm going. I'm told I should go to the downtown. So it was hard. It was really hard because I had no information. I had no contact. No one picking me up. It's just me arriving in Hong Kong. That was year 2005. That was January, New Year, because I left Ghana December 30th or something like that. And I was going to be in Hong Kong the 1st of January, 2005. And when I got to the airport 2005, it was bad. It was cold. And I ain't got no jacket. All I had was Dickies. And now I'm just trying to get information to go to where I can see black people. That's all. I just wanted to see black men. You know, it don't matter what part of Africa you're from. As long as you're black, I just need information. I just need where can I meet, you know, people just like you. You know, because no one understands the English that I'm trying to communicate with at that time in the airport. So right away, I stood in the airport for almost an hour and some, just waiting. No English, until one person, you know, that I approached and asked, can you please help me locate where black peoples are? And the person said, oh, sure. Take this bus, and the bus will take you to a place called Chim Sha Choi. That is the name of the city or the place where I can find people called Kowloon in Chim Sha Choi or Chunkin Mansion. These are names of a building. So I was like, okay, and wrote it down. It was hard to know how to pronounce it, but hey, I took what she said. And I was in a bus. When I was in the bus, all I was looking forward to was to see a black man. If I see any black man, I'm jumping off from that bus. I'm jumping off. That's how much of blackness is important when you find yourself in some places where there is no black. Because you understand that if I see any person just like me, at least we can relate and communicate on how I can survive. You know what I mean? Because sometimes the other race that you might come across, if they don't understand your language, trust me, they want to help you, but they can't help you because they don't understand what you want. And in that time, people feel like they want to help, but no English. And that was Hong Kong. And I'm told Hong Kong people do speak English, but I guess the people that I came across, no one was speaking English. So only one person helped me out. But when I got to Chim Sha Choi, I was in the bus when I saw a couple of black people. And then the bus stopped. And the driver said, okay, Chim Sha Choi or something like that. Oh, I was ready. When he stopped, I was already coming down. Like, I'm coming down. The moment I came down, guess what? Miracle happened. I started seeing faces that I'm familiar with back from where I come from. People from my community that I've not seen for a couple of years, they happen to be living in Hong Kong. And I saw a face that was familiar. I approached this person. I had the person looking at me like, what you doing out here? I'm like, what? What am I doing out here? I'm here. Just take me inside. I need a jacket. I need to get a jacket right now. So we got in there. I was helped out to find a room, a place, get a jacket, get a whole bunch that I needed. And now the journey started and prepared to go get Chinese visa in Hong Kong. And this was 2005. And when I got the Chinese visa, I went to China. My whole mindset was I'm coming to buy stuff. I already saved money. So I was buying clothes that I can take back home and then start selling it. That is how my journey started. That is some part of my lifestyle or my life journey where I was into clothing. I was into trading. I started buying clothes from China. And then I started taking it back to Africa, Ghana. And I started selling it to my community. When I started selling that to my community, it helped me a lot. And that changed how my life became. It changed me a lot because it became a source of provision for myself and for my families. So I'm going to say this. Whoever you are watching this, if you have a dream, if you have any intention of making a move on getting into any business, do your inquiries, but never give up. Make your plans and push to it. So this whole story is just to give information about how my journey from Africa all started. The journey from Africa started with me making a one move. That was the move to just go to China. And being in China helped build my business portfolio. My business portfolio helped a lot because when I was back home in Ghana, I started making trips to China from time to time. I started going to China. In a month, I go like twice. In 2 months, I go like twice or 3 times. And I started frequently visiting China, buying. Sometimes I stay there and do business. And sometimes I go back home whilst business going on back home in Ghana. So this is how the journey of King Yusuf started. And then from there, I decided I wanted to have my own brand name. So I decided and prayed for it that I want to go to America. I believe America is a place where you'll be able to further your business mindset, your career, because it's a place where fashion is more loved or liked. So I wanted to come here and understand what the real American story is all about when it comes to clothes, you know. But when I came here, something different happened. When I came to America, I saw a lot of opportunity on how I can make it, not making it to make money, but making it in a sense where I'll be able to tell a great story about how it all started. So 2013, when I came to America, I flew from China to Los Angeles, California. The moment I touched down in Los Angeles, California, there is this vibe, there is this atmosphere that makes a person feel like you're at home. I say this to say is back from where I come from, sometimes if you're not from Africa, you think, oh, they're living in the jungles, you know, like a lot of the media, you know, always portray us. But it's not like that. You know, we grew up in, you know, even though it's slum from where I'm come from, but not the whole country is slum. There's a whole bunch of places with, you know, things that America got. Beautiful road, beautiful houses, and some places don't got it. You know what I mean? So coming from the slums, but I do know that some of my families in some areas that I used to go, they have a beautiful houses. There are palm trees in some of these cities. There are beautiful estates and residential areas, you know. So being in California and seeing the houses, it gave me that vibe like I'm still home. You know, California do have, you know, this beautiful houses and palm trees. That right there, it felt like I was back in Ghana. I was like, oh my God, this looks beautiful. It just gives me that feelings like I'm back in Ghana, even though it's California. So those ideas started coming that my brand name has to be a connection between Africa, California, and America. So this is how it all started. Then I sat down by the dining table, like I said earlier, and I started going through how my life journey started. And I said, I need to have something with Africa and California. When I wrote Africa and wrote California, that moment is when the portmanteau kicked in. The blend of Africa, California, Africali, it came right away from what I wrote on a piece of paper. So I said, Africalifornia, Africa, California. I said, wait a minute. I can see Africa, I can see California, and that Cali can really match with the end of Africa, California. So I started putting in work. Africa, California, California. Oh, no, I got to shout it. I got to just cut it. The Fornia, I got to put it aside. And let's take the Africali. That's how Africali started. That's how the brand Africali started. It started with Africalifornia and took away the Fornia and let the Africali stay. And that's how the brand Africali started. But now, people ask me, so what is Africali? Africali definition is basically about love, peace, and unity, because that's the kind of person that I know myself to be. I love people, united community. I love people who always want to bring peace wherever you may find them. I love the energy of unity. So with the Africali, I felt like this is two of the both worlds that can come together. You know what I mean? And also, throughout my research, I came to find out a whole lot of similarities between Africa, or where I come from, Ghana, and California. An example of that is Ghana is in the western part of Africa. And when you look at the California map, it comes from the Pacific coast of America, the western part. So it mostly, there's a term mostly used West Coast. And in Ghana, when growing up, we always used to or say that we are from the, so I'm from the western part of Africa. So with that being said, I felt that connection from west to west. Then also, Ghana used to be a country that was known with gold. And it's actually called Gold Coast. Before it was changed to Ghana, Ghana was known as the country with gold. So Gold Coast was the name. Then looking at California, California once upon a time also was a place where gold mine or gold rush started when gold was discovered. And a lot of people from the South had to move to California. People from other states basically had to move to California because of the gold. So you see this kind of similarities, we have to put it into the same category and tell a story that can really fit. And then when you look at California also, the name California, it is being searched through research that there used to be a queen called Califia or Caliph. This queen, she was powerful. She had powerful warriors, basically women. Some said it's a fictional story. Some people said, oh, it's a reality. No one knows. But to take the name California, if you look into the Arabic term of Khalifa, you will find the similarities of that, as in Khalifa, which is a successor, a leader, So we as a Muslim understand that the name Khalifa is given to someone that can lead, a leader who is to guide. And when you're guiding, you have to guide people up on the right path. You have to always find the right path that people can get closer to God, which is giving them what God says, do's and don'ts, obeying the laws of the Almighty Creator. So these are things that when I was making research, it helped me understand that the name Africali is basically a name for love, a name for peace, a name for unity. To spread love, to spread peace, to spread unity to any person that I come across. So with people who know me, who I've crossed paths with, that will be my, testimony to that, because I've always loved to share some sort of a good advice in whatever situation a person may find himself. I always try my best to make sure that I can help someone smile or someone get, whatever they deserve in life. You know what I mean? So Africali is love, peace, and unity. And also Africali is about my journey from Ghana, Africa, to China, and then to California, United States of America. And then also, if you look at the logo, if you look at the Africali logo, you will see how Africa and the Cali map look beautiful together. I always tell people the Cali is in the heart of Africa. And that's where you can find that source of peace and unity in a symbolic way, with how the Africa and the Cali are matched together. And also with how the name rhyme perfectly. So when you look at the Africali, they stand in by each other as a form of unity. So when I drew this logo, that's all I could see at that moment. That I loved it. It looked so beautiful to me, and it was something that was just beautiful, and it was unique. Seeing that, so Africali unity. This is Africali with the map Africa and then California map, both united together. Africali and unity. And so I have been given that guidance to put up Africali love, Africali peace, and Africali unity with the same Africa and California map, but there is a source of difference in the sense that if it's just Africa without any writing, African Cali, then that is love right there, as a symbol of how love is always drawn this way. So I see the Africa with the California map as in lovely partners. They share some love affair, you know what I mean? So, and also if we have the Africa and the California map, and then you have the writing on the top, that right there tells you that is peace. You know what I mean? It stands right there, and the Africa is in the top as a symbol of peace. Then you find, if it's just like this, Africali standing side by side, guiding the Africa and the California map, that is unity. And I believe this is something that I want for all mankind. I want all mankind to always feel that whenever you have someone that trusts you and always guides you, always helps you, then that person should be your guide of love, your guide of peace, your guide of wanting unity between y'all. So Africali is basically all about love, peace, and unity, and it is nothing but peace at the end of the day. So Africali also will touch many bases on how our ancestors traveled from Africa, even though they didn't travel on themselves, but as they journeyed through this slavery, if I say, basically Africali also has some sort of a symbols that has to do with colors. When you look at the Africali colors that is on the website, or sometimes with some of the clothing that we have, you will come across gold colors, white color, blue color, black color, red color, pink color. All these colors are symbols. The blue, the red, the black, the gold, the white, the silver, the pink, they're all symbols. They're all symbols that is to identify some particular aspect about our journey. Gold is something that is being given to us as human beings to always utilize as a form of transaction, which is money. Gold in itself is being given to us so we can use in trading, and that brings unity between people. When there is always a trade, fair trading, then there comes some sort of a unity, and the silver you find in Africali clothing, we have some of the silver designs are form of money as well. Silver and gold is the money that God has decreed that we should use for trade. When you're about to use money, it's gold or silver. Even though now we don't use that, but yes, this is something that God has blessed or given mankind. And back in the days of those prophets that was in either Egypt or in Palestine, they were using gold and silver. But now we don't use gold and silver. Gold and silver are now used as jewelry. So what about the color? The color white. The color white is a symbol of light. And then what about the blue? The blue is a symbol of the ocean as well as the sky. What about the red? The red is a symbol of blood as well as fire. All right? And what about the pink? Well, pink is more of a color that has some sort of calmness, and it's been associated to women, that women love the color pink. Well, when we look at it on a deeper level or on a spiritual level, what does the pink color really do? Pink color actually give women some sort of a calmness, some sort of a peace. It's not too loud. When we look at the color red, you'll find that red color is more of like and fire is either doing good or is doing harm. You know what I mean? So when you look at these symbols of colors, then we can tell how much of symbolic it is for our journey and how we have to use it for based on your intention. The color red could be fire, but fire is not that bad. You have to know how to treat fire with respect. And then fire will also respond back with respect. As we use fire for cooking, if fire is bad, then we shouldn't use fire with cooking and using it for doing a whole lot of great things all the time. No, right? So fire is good. The color black also stands as in darkness, and then it stands also as in shadow, and then also it stands as in the race black. You understand me? So someone might ask, why is it that the black is only for the race color black? Well, because when you look at those colors that we all talk about, gold, there's no any gold skin, there's no any blue skin. So when you look at the color black, The color black is a symbol of darkness. The color white also is a symbol of white people. All right. So these colors that we have, it gives us an important information to know that everything around us, we are part of it. However we use it, we are all part of it. Ghana was once called the Gold Coast, and California was once called the Gold Coast. So this is something that makes me understand that Africali brand with the gold logo is something that will tell a story, a unique story for people to feel and understand why buying this brand has a meaning behind it. Supporting this brand has a meaning behind it. And when you also look at the silver colors that we have, or the silver prints that we have on Africali t-shirts, you understand that silver is a form of money. Africa is a continent of love, peace, and unity. It's always the good and the bad. But we're looking to the good all the time. If we're going to talk about the bad, it's basically because of the experience that a person went through that makes certain situations look bad. So California is definitely a place where people move because they want to fulfill their dream. They want to fulfill some part of their goals or seeking for success. But some of the success that you might be getting from a place like California, if you go through the right way, then you will enjoy your success. But if you go through the back door, trying to go through all the other evilness, then you will find yourself corrupted, and your way of life is just going to be nothing but seeking for fame. And that can lead you to losing your precious life. So we have to really think about the right things before we make a move. The year 2017 was when I started putting everything together. I started having all the clothing, the website, and everything together. There are good people out there. Very good people. When I met this brother, he is behind most of the pictures that you find on the screen. Most of the pictures that you find on the screen, he is behind those pictures. And I want to thank him for the support that he has given me from day one. He's the one that took the time to photograph every clothing that we had. From the Africali Peace t-shirts, Africali Unity t-shirts. He was the one behind most of all the pictures. He took all the pictures, and he never charged me nothing. He said, I want to help you, bro. I really want to help you. This brand is unique. This brand is beautiful, bro. You know, this is what I want to see people do. And I believe that my goal is to help you. And he did. Thank you so much. And please link up, okay? And I want to thank my wife for her support. She's been very supportive about this journey. She's been supportive about this Africali Talks podcast. I never thought that I would be in this position of doing a podcast. But she always told me, Yusuf, why don't you just do a podcast? Get a YouTube channel. because you have a whole lot that you talk about. You can benefit some people out there. And I always felt shy about it. But as time goes on, I cross paths with people and they always ask me, do you have any channel? Do you have any podcast? Why don't you get a podcast? And right from there, I understood that there is a sign into why everyone is asking me if I do have a podcast. I should get a podcast. I should be having a platform so I can really talk about the things that can benefit people. Thank you very much to everyone that supported this. I have a lot of great, good, beautiful friends all around the world. My parents, my mom, my siblings, and my cousins, and some of my friends. And I want to thank every one of you all for helping, for supporting. That is what friends are always meant for, or brothers or families are meant for, to always help, to always help. And this is the story of Africali brand. The Africali brand is all about love, peace, and unity. We have the Africali love collection. We have the Africali peace collection. We have Africali unity collection. All this just to show how much the symbol of Africa and California map can really stand out in all forms, and then also be used in a sense where we can spread some sort of a goodness to the world. And get on the website and get you some Africali brand. I thank you for tuning in on Africali Talks podcast.
Bismillah.